Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Lewis. I would like to introduce you to my audience. This is Sandra Lewis. This is John Brinkley. Thank you for being here with me today. I would like to begin with a story from Gerald Linwood's book on medical miracles on organ transplants. It starts with a 22-year-old college student by the name of Nancy Kelly, who is sitting at her desk in her dormitory room at Massachusetts State College when a fire suddenly broke out. Before Nancy could leap to safety, her body was engulfed by flames. Fire seared her hair, and 4/5 of her body was severely burned. Years ago, doctors would have had little hope of saving Nancy Kelly. According to Dr. Nicholas Tinley, organ and tissue donation is improving and has improved dramatically. An astounding 107,173 people are awaiting transplants from OrganGov.com. What if one of these people was a family member that you loved and cared about? What would you do? We don't know what we would do until it specifically affects us. Today I would like to talk to you about how important and meaningful it can be to become an organ donor. Specifically, I will talk to you about how to become an organ donor, the need and shortage for organs, and how the recipient feels after the transplant. I would like to talk to you first on how you become an organ donor. Designating an organ and tissue donation is very simple. There is nothing hard about it. It basically just takes your willingness. In Linwood's book, he describes the steps on how to become an organ donor. One only must be the age of 18 years to indicate their decision. Donation may be designated at a hospital, individual, or doctor's office. It may also be used for scientific purposes. For one must do is complete a card signed by 2 witnesses showing their willingness to become an organ donor. In our Department of Driver Services, they encourage people who apply for their license to indicate their decision on their driver's license. This saves time because if something does happen to you, you always have your license, and it is clear cut. In a book written by Finn and Coulter, they wrote about conflicts within an individual who did not indicate their decision. Save this question from your family. It is important that you become an organ donor now. Your next of kin may not always know what you want or may not be there to make your wish for you. Time is critical. Ballard talks about how when you officially become an organ donor, your name is placed in a large database. This allows quickness of time for someone to receive your unselfish act of kindness. I will now talk to you about the need and shortage for organs. Ballard talks about how organ donor is a big problem for most transplant programs. In the U.S. alone, the waiting list is growing steady, reaching a 97,000 as of December 31st, 2007, in an article called Donate Life America. Another good statistic from this site states that 6,000 people died while awaited organ transplants, and 26,000 people received organ transplants. Just from these numbers, I hope you can see how important it is to make your decision now. In an article written by New York Times, they indicated that 13% of New York adults are officially organ donors. When I think of a shortage, I just can't comprehend it. There are so many people that die every day that if one of them would have been an organ donor, someone could have lived. Lastly, I would like to talk to you about how the recipient feels after the organ transplant. According to Swartz, how a patient feels depends on the type of organ that was transplanted. For the most part, patients feel a lot better than they did before and are able to do things their ill health prevented them to. Sometimes the patient can't cope with the fact and may require counseling, but most are extremely grateful. According to Orrick Brewer, questions that may arise from organ donations are, when an organ is taken out, is the person dead? Yes, the person must be declared officially dead. Sure, there are questions. But the most definite answer is that you live because someone took this unselfish act of kindness and became an organ donor. I hope you can see how important and meaningful it is to become an organ donor, and will be the greatest gift that you could ever give someone. I have told you how to become an organ donor, the need and shortage for organs, and how the recipient feels after the transplant. I hope you get the satisfaction of saving your fellow man. It could be your mother, father, sister, brother, or your child that receives someone's unselfish acts of kindness. So please become an organ donor today. Thank you.